the trap like.
Live from virtual Avondale, Arizona, we welcome race fans one and all here to the Phoenix Raceway, where we get set to kick off yet another round of the OMSRL Xfinity Series. Hello one and all, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Little Rampo, and I'll be bringing you all the coverage, start to finish, of tonight's run of the Ruch Cream 120 for 120 laps around this beautiful 1-mile circuit down in the Arizona desert. Bound to be a fun race tonight as all drivers getting set to take it to the racetrack. It's exactly kind of a show they'll be putting on for us tonight after they took a 1-week break following an absolutely thrilling ride over at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. The championship order as they go into things looks a little bit something like this. Like I said, to go racing here tonight, Spencer Ray continues to lead the way up at the top of the point standings there, and it'll be a fun ride for him to see if he can try to hang on to that points lead. So far, he has not picked up a race win, but he has been able to get himself with arguably a good lead regardless. With a whole bunch of top 5 finishes, he is over 30 points clear of the likes of Ryan Dingler. Hunter Thrower, though, the fight's on for that second position with second through fourth, only separated by about 5 points on back. Another 4 back sits Grant Peterson, running currently 5th spot over in the overall championship standings. So the points battle still looks as tight as ever for various spots up and down throughout the field, regardless of where you end up looking. And this is the type of thing that, of course, the OMSRL Xfinity Series is used to, and it's the type of thing we're going to continue to see all the way until the conclusion of the season as we get set to go racing even deeper into the racing here in this beautiful season we've had going on here for season number 4. Qualifying is very much underway as things stand out on the racetrack, and at the moment you've got several drivers, including Grant Peterson, the driver out of Altoona, Iowa, trying to see if he can get himself with a good run for himself. The Toyota Supra runner will hightail it down in the back straightaway, but for now, it is the likes of Sean Kaiser that's put himself up on a provisional pole as things stand, as one by one drivers start to log the laps down. Where will Peterson be finding himself here? It's going to be a good enough run for, going to be looking like 3rd fastest for Peterson in his number 52 car. He'll take his second lap and see if he can put it any better. Currently sits 2/10 behind OMSRL rookie Todd Gray. Coming around 3 and 4, out to the front straightaway for Grant Peterson at the line, going to cross it sideways and not able to improve on his time, while Ryan Dingler puts himself 5th quick over on the board. So as qualifying is very much underway, why don't we take a ride on board with one of these drivers here, and we'll let you see what a qualifying effort looks like here from the beautiful Phoenix Raceway. Michael DeWall going to put himself second fastest up on the boards, but will not be able to get himself with a better time up on the sheets for now. We've got about a minute left in qualifying, but still have a whole host of drivers that have not set times. Out of the 23 starters that I'm counting here so far, only 18 have set times. Purcell went out to make an effort, opted though to pull back down into pit road. So he will be starting well down the field, joined the likes of Robert Peterson, Michael Kenner, Matt LaValle, and Nathaniel Ames, whereas 18th on up have, of course, set qualifying times, and Ryan Dingler going to be leading the boards. He'll be looking to start here on pole position in his badge racing number 2 car. Good 0.06 of a second up from Todd Cray. So qualifying has just about wrapped up in its entirety here from the Phoenix Raceway over in Avondale, Arizona, and that means it is almost going to be time to take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to be looking like as we get set to go racing here tonight for what should be a very exciting 120 laps from the race that plays host to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. As one by one, drivers start to enter pit road now. We'll take a rundown of your starting grid here at Phoenix, Arizona, and it is going to be the likes of Ryan Dingler on pole position with Todd Cray beside him on the front row. Bear Morton going to be picking it up in third. Got the likes of Spencer Ray to start on his outside on row number 4. Colby Wells starts in 5th place with Logan Hamilton in 6th. Grant Peterson starting in 7th with Sean Kaiser in 8th. Kyle Munson and Kevin Cordall round out the top 10. Michael DeWald and Nathan Schiffler pick up 11th and 12th on row number 6. Row 7 holds Jacob Noyes and Zachary Kreischer. Hunter Thoreau picks up 15th with Anthony Rosati in 16th. Adam Schramm is 17th with Colton Hopner in 18th. And the last driver to put down a qualifying lap, almost a full second behind your pole sitter Ryan Dingler. Michael Kenner and Robert Peterson round out row number 10. Row 11 holds Stephen Purcell and Matt LaValle. Nathaniel Ames brings up the remainder of your 23-car grid from the Phoenix Raceway. Apologies for the brief technical difficulties. Those should be sorted now as we've got all your drivers getting set to roll off for the starting grid here tonight from the Phoenix Raceway. Now, we talked about this earlier about exactly what kind of a race we can expect from these guys over here tonight, and I think it'll be one where we're going to be seeing some very, very loose race cars. You look over to the weather, 125 degrees down on the racetrack, 77 in the air, which means it's going to be, shall we say, entertaining for these drivers as they get set to go racing for 120 laps. But for now, from Green Flag TV, happy that you joined us here on a beautiful Tuesday night as Ryan Dingler going to lead us into the Geico restart zone. It's time to get this party started. Green Flag is out from Phoenix. A good getaway so far from drivers further down the field as Ryan Dingler picks up the race lead in the run down to turn numbers 1 and 2. Colby Wells trying to follow in for that second position. Bear Morton hanging it up with that third spot over on the outside line. We've single-filed our way out throughout just about the entirety of your field here in this race tonight, with side-by-side action going on a bit further down the order. We're going to go 3 wide as well to turns 3 and 4 with Kenner, Thrower, as well as 55 and Kevin Cordall. As they'll go 3 abreast and run down through the dogleg and on the front straightaway. Contact between the door of Cordall and Kenner as we hightail it down to turns 1 and 2. But overall, a very good way to open up tonight's proceedings here from Avondale. Colby Wells did not wait around long to make that move up for the race lead. He's going to charge down for the inside to try to get around the likes of Ryan Dingler in the dash down towards turn numbers 1 and 2. Wells clears. Dingler trying to maybe look back for the bottom side. Opted against it, though. So Dingler will pick up the second position. The Spearcrest Digital number 9 of Bear Morton, though, going to try to go up with him. As your field runs it back down to the turn numbers 3 and 4, where he got himself pretty much single filed out for the entirety of the field. This is something that we can expect to see throughout the course of the night. Not a whole lot of actual side-by-side action. As Phoenix definitely is a rhythm track, and we can expect to see more of a strategy game being played out in tonight's OMSRL Xfinity presentation. Michael DeWalt and Jacob Noyes going side-by-side. Michael Kenner also in the fray, as we'll run it back down the hill and towards turn number 3. Can see a good fair chunk of drivers going double file as drivers cut down into that dog leg. Of course, as NASCAR fans will know, no rule against cutting that dog leg. Oh, look out! Cordall slamming to the inside wall, back up into traffic. Caution is out on lap number 6 for a single car spin. Kevin Cordall tanking it big time into the inside wall off of turn number 2. So Colby Wells going to pick up the race lead. Is he going to make a dive to come down to pit road? Thinking about it. Going to make that last-minute decision to stay out. Can't say I'm surprised. You got yourself, I mean, we're talking 6 laps on these tires. No reason to be coming on down to pit road just yet. As I say that, Cordall and Musati, interesting enough coming in. Cordall I kind of expected, but Musati, the odd driver out here in this one. Let's take a look back, see what happened to Kevin Cordall. This is coming around turn number 2 as he's side-by-side with Michael DeWalt. DeWalt gets loose from the top side, drifts down, and just gets into Cordall. Spinning the 55 car up. Gets it refired, though, and he'll get himself rolling once again. So, not the best of runs for Cordall as he ride on board the 55 car with this incident. Yeah, just a little bit of a hip off of turn 2, and that's all she wrote. But I tell you what, I think Zachary Kreischer can thank his lucky stars here for this one on board of the 19 car. He got a good heads-up view of all this. See his car spinning down low, bounce up to the top side, and just finds the one hole there to squeeze through. Cordall is off and away. He will not lose a lap, it looks like, so he'll stay on the lead lap, and just in the nick of time, here comes Wells and the rest. Coming around through turn numbers 3 and 4. Now we're going to go lights out this time, or we're going to keep them on for one more. Will be lights out. Short yellow. Everybody's still on the lead lap. No reason for it to extend one out for the lap cars to come down, so we'll get these gentlemen sorted. We'll stack them up, we'll double them up, and we'll get ready to go back racing in Avondale, Arizona. I mentioned before, obviously these guys would have to watch out for some mayhem, and it looks like among the drivers having to look out for that, you got the likes of Spencer Ray, who might be in a little bit of a spot of bother here. Come this restart, as you can see from Van Morton, a bit of damage to the nose of that number 6 car. The Apex Action Photography Supra going to be having some issues, it might look like, coming on down to the restart here. Meanwhile, we're going to come down into turn numbers 3 and 4. And Colby Wells going to get set to take us back down to the green flag. Diving down the road into turns 1 and 2. Almost a bit of contact as Morton leans on the door. Dingler! Hamilton gets into the outside wall. He'll save it though. And we'll get these guys sorted back down to turn numbers 3 and 4. One of the few pure asphalt beasts with no grass around the racetrack here. So that does mean you go spinning around, it's a bit easy to lock it down and it goes sliding into the infield. But of course, it does invite opportunity to kind of poke the nose in somewhere where perhaps it doesn't belong. Whoa, look out as DeWall going to go sliding in the background here along with the likes of Robert Peterson. So a few drivers having to scramble down to the tail end of the field. We'll get ourselves sorted, but only just as Michael DeWald had to go for a big slide over in turn numbers 3 and 4, coming around through turns 1 and through 3 and 4 there. And we'll see how this one went down, as this is going to back it up a bit further than I intended, but we'll make use of it. He's going to go with Hunter Thrower and Jacob Noyes as they come off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Has he gotten a tip from behind? Potential from Thrower. Yes, he did. Right there. Gets Sand. Noyes just barely avoids it. A good save, though, from the 22. Going to keep him in the fight. Although he has dropped all the way down now to the 18th spot, down 7 positions where we started this race. Meanwhile, Michael Kenner on an absolute charge. He's up a whopping 13. So Michael Kenner having a great afternoon so far as the 98 car up from the 19th spot, or not even 20 laps deep. Going side by side with Todd Gray in the dive down to turn number 1. It's Gray not willing to let this spot go without a fight. Dingler trying to pull the outside line. Gets the run off turn 2. And hangs on down the back straightaway. You can see how he arcs it in immediately right down off the corner, so far down that it gives the appearance that these guys are going in a pit road, giving the bit of the switcheroo for the timing boards here. Morton pulling around the high side. He's going to try to make a run around Dingler, but he gets into the wall off of turn number 2. It's going to fall apart for Morton. He's going to scrape up the right side of the Spear Crest Chevrolet. Meanwhile, Sean Kaiser, Jacob Noyes embroiled in a fight for the 12th spot over on the racetrack. So fights going on in the midfield as well as we rocket down to turn number 1. So far, the hot track temps don't look like they're catching too many drivers out, but that inside lane does not appear to have a whole lot of pace underneath it as Kaiser pulls clear of Noyes and Musati try to follow suit, while Morton and Musati are once again going to run together in a turn number 1. They'll get themselves sorted. How about Grant Peterson? Try to push further up towards the top 5 as he looks to get around the absolute top parkour number 12. Tucking it in line, there's not a whole lot more that he's been able to do, but he's doing a good job with what he's been given as things stand. So Peterson and Hamilton going to continue to do battle with one another as Grant Peterson looking desperate to try to find some way through in the number 52 car. Hard on the binders and losing the back end a little bit as we come down into 3 and 4. And Grant Peterson keeping Hamilton being able to arc it down into the dog leg, trying to keep momentum that you might lose otherwise if you try to risk going down onto the apron there. And these guys been side by side for, oh, bit of contact there. Peterson swings out wide. I was just going to mention how They have been side by side for about 3 laps straight now, but not anymore. Hamilton banging off the door of the 52, and that's going to force Grant Peterson back in line. And how about this for a crossover from Bear Morton, trying to go for the over-under on Spencer Ray. Got the drive in the middle of the corner, but lost it on exit. He'll tuck back in line for 6th. As Spencer Ray picks up the 5th position. Colby Wells continuing to lead the way. Ryan Dingler shooting to the inside, though, making a run to take his race lead back. Started on the pole, and now taking a page out of Wells' playbook, making the move later in the stint. And Dingler's through to 1st. Oh, Wells trying to fight back, though. Dingler tried to cover him off. It wasn't happening, though, and now Wells has the inside line down for 3 and 4. But again, outside reigns supreme. As Wells takes the dog leg, Dingler hangs on and clears with the race lead down to turn number 1. Check in on fights further down the field, and you got the likes of Hunter Thrower and Jacob Noyes still looking to go side by side with one another. Robert Peterson, Purcell, DeWalt also in the fray. This is for spots at 14th, 13th on back as Robert Peterson jumps to the inside to get around Jacob Noyes, but that's only going to let Noyes get up and around, potentially outside of Hunter Thrower here. They opt against it, will remain in lockstep in the rundown for turn numbers 1 and 2. Gray made the pass on Colby Wells for 2nd place, so Wells seems to be dropping back in a fairly big way here. Robert Peterson, meanwhile, can go to the outside of Jacob Noyes, trying to use that top lane momentum to get around him. Curious what it is about that outside lane that is coming in so strong here today for the Ruch Cream 120. Usually it's the inside lane that tends to be the most powerful over at the Phoenix Raceway. Positions swapping around on the racetrack, including Peterson and Morton, who are going to go. Oh, hello, Peterson swinging it out wide. Was going to say going to go side by side for 7th. They opted against it, and here's David Shiflett, Sean Kaiser, a bit of no man's land. Oh, they're going to make contact. The All-American Motorsports 24 getting pushed up the racetrack. Gets back in line and now trying to run down Shiflett, who is covering that inside. Meanwhile, Todd Cray wanting to make the move for the race lead. You saw him try to poke the nose around the outside of Ryan Dingler in 1 and 2. Once again, forced to chop back in line. Cray shooting for the bottom, though, trying to see if he can carry the momentum that the inside dog can take, but it only scrubs off and he get back up onto the transitioning. And all this allowing Michael Kenner to close in with 3rd. Musati, meanwhile, has caught your battle for 10 viewers. Kaiser trying to hang on to the last points paying position for stage number 1. Coming to a close at the end of lap number 40. And here goes Musati. He's going to bang doors with Shiflett. Shoved an Apple Auto Parts 15 up the racetrack, and the Moose is through. Oh, and almost a scrape. That was scraped to the outside wall. Musati has to scramble down the racetrack. Trouble for Jacob Noyes, meanwhile, as he's taking a hefty whack to the outside wall. We'll go to the replay here. Is right there. Noyes gets up at the wall in a big way. Then he has some sort of issue, and he blinks in, and then he's back into the wall. So he's had some sort of technical failure that's put that car to the outside wall. And a lot of damage on the 34 car. Kyle Munson working his way further up into the top 10, working underneath Logan Hamilton for 8th. So pushed up the track from the bottom. That's part of what you got to be careful about is how low you get down the inside line. It does get a bit flat and very easy to spin the car as well as you come off of turn number 2. With what has so far been a solid race and under 10 laps left to go from the Phoenix Raceway, Spencer Ray pushed up to the top shelf with Grant Peterson trying to go with them. There was an attempt to overtake for the race lead. It didn't end up going anywhere, but it was an attempt nonetheless. And this is where it was as Todd Gray tried to lunge for the inside of Ryan Dingler on an absolutely bonsai move down to turn 1. But he had to back off as Dingler got the run around the top shelf, came down with a little bit of door-to-door contact, and Dingler pulled clear up from the outside line. I have got Ray and Peterson side by side for 5th. As once again, both drivers going to try to work with one another. The run down the back straightaway to 3 and 4 used to be the front straightaway. A lot of people weirded out with where they moved that start-finish straight. Some drivers love it. Some drivers absolutely despise it. Would rather see it change back. I happen to like the look. I like the way it gives Phoenix a slightly more unique feel as well, even though it does have one of the most unique shapes you can find on the NASCAR calendar. Continuing to hang strong, while in the background, Sean Kaiser and Anthony Mussatti going at it. You just had Nathaniel Ames get around Colton Hoffner. Hoffner seems to get around Ames for 20th, a bit deeper down the field, and caution flag is out as Hamilton has wrecked it on the back straightaway. And that I think that will be a conclusion then for stage 1. We will get confirmation in just a little while, as this is what happened to Hamilton as he came off of turn number 2, got to the outside wall and just spun it around all by his lonesome, gathered it up and kept it rolling, but not before the yellow flag flew. And Dingler is in, so is Cray, Mussatti, and more. This will be the stage break, as everybody coming on down to pit road. Still got everybody on the lead lap here. And Dingler even scraping the outside wall in the middle of pit road as he'll make that sharp turn down in for his pit stall right at the far end. Gets it locked down nicely, no dramas. Oh, that's a close race off pit road, and I think Kenner may have just gotten Ryan Dingler on the exit. And in fact, it does look like that is going to be the case. So we'll see if we can't dial up your stage 1 winner then, Ryan Dingler, who's going to be restarting. It looks like second then on the boards. Meanwhile, Ryan, this is Nolan Rempel up here at the broadcast booth. You got a copy? We'll try this one more time. Ryan Dingler got a copy. This is Nolan Rempel up at the broadcast booth.
Sir, got you.
Well, what a way to end out stage number 1. Obviously, you're going to come out the winner as all of things stand. And how's that got to feel then, seeing that one come to a conclusion early?
It was pretty good. It was really hard to hold off Cray.
Obviously, you're going to be a bit busy here, so we'll wrap this up quick like here. What's the strategy going to be to get that car to victory lane in about 80 laps?
Try not to kill my tires.
Tire strategy is always key at Phoenix. Best of luck down there. We'll let you get back to work.
I appreciate it.
Short and sweet from stage 1 winner Ryan Dingler tonight. As the iRacing safety car going to pull down and into pit road. And it will be Kenner then, who will take us down to the green flag. It's Michael Kenner. Takes us through. Green flag up in the air. We're back underway. Oh, and a big truck crash over in turn 2 as a couple of cars going around, and it's a parking lot down there on the second corner of the racetrack. Not the way we wanted to start the second stage of the afternoon, with a massive pileup in the opening corner of the racetrack. Take a look from the air as it all condensed down. Where did this all kick off? Right there, Schraub gets into thrower, then Kaiser gets hit by Cordall, and from there it all just stacks up together as one by one drivers come flying in with nothing that a good chunk of these guys could do in the middle of the field. That's just a wrong place, wrong time for a lot of the drivers out here, and that's got to hurt for the guys that have been spending so much time here trying to get themselves sorted. Man, Morton almost had that thing missed as well, as we'll get a look on board with Bear Morton's number 9 car here. He was so close to having this thing saved. Goes to the outside, and all of a sudden there's thrower. Not the way that we were hoping to kick off the second stage of the evening, but nonetheless, it's just how the cookies ended up crumbling. Third caution here of the afternoon so far. You're watching the OMSRL Xfinity Series on Green Flag TV. We'll be back in a few.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Lights are out aboard the iRacing safety car from the Daytona, not the Daytona National Speed, but the Phoenix Raceway. Had a lot of Daytona going on this week as we'll get set to go back racing on lap number 44. Kenner still holds on to the race lead, and we still have everybody on the lead lap, so all drivers able to get themselves sorted, with Bear Morton just catching up to the tail end of the field now. So we'll roll it down in towards 3 and 4, and we will once again get set to kick things off from Avondale, Arizona. Green flag up in the air as Kenner takes us back. Matt LaValle falling a long way down the field here as he's had some sort of mayhem off the restart. Todd Craig trying to push around Ryan Dingler to go for that second spot while Michael Kenner taking off down to turn numbers 3 and 4. Peterson makes the jump out to get around Dingler as Craig goes through. Ryan Dingler having a bad way. Contact sends Dingler up the track. Here comes Wells to put it 3 wide. And they almost bang doors again over in the dog leg as we run down to turn 1. Wells comes up. He'll get clear and go 2 for 2 off of turn 4 down the front straightaway into turn number 1. So Wells through to 3rd as Peterson and Dingler going to race it out for 4th and 5th. Trouble behind as yellow flag is out for Matt LaValle and Hunter Thrower that have just crashed over on the back straightaway. And so it begins. See Hunter Thrower a bit further up the order. I have a feeling this starts up your Thrower. Oh, it started with Morton. Thrower got sent hard into the wall, and there was just nowhere that LaValle could go, it looked like. So, again, a weird incident there as we'll get a look at this one. Thrower and Morton make contact. Thrower gets shoved up into the outside wall, rebounds down into Kreiser, and then just cleans the clock of Matt LaValle. Not again, quite the way they were hoping to have this race go out, but tell you what, this has been entertaining to say the least, as there's the first hit, and yeah, LaValle just wrong place, wrong time, innocent bystander in that deal. As drivers line it up behind the iRacing safety car, will we finally get our first driver down a lap from damage? I've not had that yet. And it's looking like it'll be fairly straightforward then, as we'll get set to try to put it, hopefully, to green this next coming time by. A lot of action, though, going on up and down all throughout the field so far here today. We'll talk to some of the drivers that have had some action going on a bit further down the order here. We'll see if we can't maybe get in touch here. How about with the likes of Nathaniel Ames here? The driver in the number 28 car. Having a good run so far. Nathaniel, this is Nolan Rampel up at the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Nolan.
Well, it's been a good run for you so far here today from Phoenix, Arizona. That outside lane, though, it's been looking strong. What's been the secret so far?
Honestly, I had no secret in terms of my doing. First restart on 9 on the outside, and they seem to get going pretty well. And you kind of have the advantage of staying on track throughout the dog leg. So I think that works out pretty well.
Well, obviously, short cautions here. We're already lights out. We'll just get back to work. Good luck out here on the restart. Thanks for the insight.
All right, thank you, Nolan.
On the outside, just tends to get going. I think that's a little bit of an understatement here as things stand, as pace car once again off and in, and it'll be Michael Kenner and Todd Craig getting set to take us down to the restart. Green flag's up in the air. Let's try it again. So far, smooth sailing for the field as they'll rocket it off of turn number 2. Down that back straightaway. Peterson just tucked in between Hamilton and Dingler, as the field rips it down off of turn number 4, across the start finish line on the lap number 51. And it is a hornet's nest of cars a bit further down the order. Ames, Ray, in lockstep with one another. Got Noyes and Hoffner. How about Morton and Cordall also locked in a fight as well. Has got battles up and down again all the way throughout this field as the aggression seems to have definitely ramped up from the Phoenix Raceway, as not a whole lot of give and take it looks like out there on the racetrack at the moment. Everybody's been out for themselves. Nobody's been necessarily in a work together type of mood. Of course, how work together can they get at a track like Phoenix? As Dingler again just trying to stop hemorrhaging positions here as he's about to lose another one back to Logan Hamilton, and cautions out. Cordall into the inside wall. DeWalt has gone with him, and potentially Hopfner involved as well. See him with quite a bit of damage back at the tail end. We will jump back. And, oh, right there, Cordall gets into Colton Hopfner. They lock it down, and then Michael DeWalt not left with a whole lot to go. That's a weird, weird incident there. So we got a look on board with Kevin Cordall. It looked like he tried to lock it down to redress and just got run over from behind. And he ended up taking the tow down to pit road as well, so he'll join Hunter Thrower in being laps down. Todd Cray, meanwhile, making a bold call to come down to pit road. And he's not the only one. Purcell, Peterson, and more all coming in. About half the field in for service on lap 54. One by one, drivers will get themselves sorted in the pits. Kenna continues to lead the way up at the front end of the field. With Kenna, the most spots gained out of anybody, plus 18 as he's rocketed now up to the race lead. Been an eventful way to kick off the first race of the second half of the regular series season over here, as we've had 4 yellow flags in the last 20 laps and only one before that on lap number 6. Next week, we'll be swinging on out to America's home for racing, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Iowa, Pocono, and Atlanta will be the races up next. And while we again have this bit of a break here in the action, why don't we see if again we can't get in touch with a few of the drivers throughout the duration of this race that have been having a good run so far. We'll see if we can't get a hold here of the likes of Anthony Musatti, running 14th place at the moment, the driver out of Fremont, Indiana. Anthony, this is Nolan Ramble in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going, Nolan?
It is going excellently so far, my friend. It's been eventful for caution the last 20 laps. You're right where all of it's been kicking off. What's that got to feel like for you?
Kind of crazy. You know, I'd rather not be in the tornado of things, but hopefully I'm past that. Start rolling and get some green flags.
What's been the run so far? Some guys favor that inside lane, but it seems like the momentum can be on the outside if you know how to rip that line.
Yeah, it's more like diming the corner, I feel like. You kind of enter high, roll the high a little bit, and then just kind of try to pinch it off on the inside. If you don't, it just gets really tight, and the more you try to keep it down low, the tighter the car wants to get. So it's really just trying to keep the car well balanced and keep it faster than everybody else.
Well, you're starting the outside line. It seems to be the run set. Best of luck here on the restart. We'll let you go back to work.
Thanks, Nolan.
There's Andy Bussati sitting down in the 14th position. We'll go back and again, we'll give another attempt here. Who knows? 5th time's the charm. We'll see if this time will be the time we get that long green flag run. 3 laps away from halfway into the restart zone. We're back underway in Phoenix. Oh, never mind. No, we're not. It is definitely not 5th time's the charm. As again, drivers go spinning around. Ray involved with damage and smoking. Shiflett also into the mix. Kreischer nailed the outside wall. Oh boy, 5 for 5. And this is going to take us over the halfway mark. To say this race could be going better is a bit of an understatement as it stands. This is going to be, with the restart here, Shiflett gets into Hamilton, then collects Ray. They spun down to the inside. Kreischer completely unprompted. He'll get up into the outside wall. I'm curious to see what this looked like aboard Spencer Ray. We'll get a look on board the number 6 car. That's a weird line for Shiflett to be taking there, as he found himself kind of tanked up into the outside wall. I'm not sure if he thought Hamilton was going to go low or what the thought process was there. I will say, though, the good news with us having these yellow flags is it's going to give us a good time to be able to ask the driver of the number 15 car what his feelings are about what may or may not have gone down between him and the number 12 car. We'll give Shiflett a chance here to speak his mind, as he's actually going to make that run down onto pit road. So we'll hold on that for a little while. We'll let him get down into his box and go for service, and then we'll give him a bit of a chit-chat. While we're at it, we can get a look on board with Shiflett here, though. See what he saw about his own best. Watch this. No, from there it looked like Hamilton might have tried to come down, and I don't know. That's a very tough one to call, if I'm being completely frank. And at this point, it's a who knows type of situation. As Shiflett's going to go up on the jacks, comes off, and should be able to get himself with a good run this time by. So now that he is free from pit road, now we'll be able to see if we can get a chat here with the driver of the number 15 car from BND. Nathan Pistola, Rebel here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, obviously not quite the way you wanted that restart to go. Why don't you walk us through what that looked like from your perspective out there?
I thought I was going to take the apron, and I didn't. I was just trying to stay on the track just to get to the corner, and he just must have thought I was going on the apron and totally took me out.
Well, you're able to come down to pit road, get some of the damage repaired, it looks like. The 15 car, it's seen better days, safe to say, but it could be worse. It could be the likes of Spencer Ray, who had his motor blow up. What's going to be the plan here for the restart?
Ride. I just let everybody else take each other out now. Just ride and get through the corners and ride this race out.
Seems to be a more and more viable strategy. We'll let you get back down to work. Best of luck out there. Hopefully that 15 car doesn't take any more knocks.
Appreciate it.
The hits keep coming, and they don't stop coming, it seems, for the field. As the pace car pulls down and into pit road, and we will give it another effort. At risk of sounding like a broken record, is 6 times the charm. Kenner, steal your control car. We'll enter the Geico restart zone. Halfway home in the Ruch green, 120. We're back underway. Overall, a decent start. We've survived 1 and 2, but the field still all sorts of condensed. Peterson looking wants to make it 3 wide. It's going to be Purcell, though, to shoot it up the middle. Purcell going for the middle of Schramm and DeWalt. He'll clear both of them coming off of turn number 4 and immediately dodge it down onto the apron. Oh, and there it is! Dingler goes around in turn 2. Here goes Cray. That's going to be the big one on the back straightaway. 5, 6, 7 cars involved. And it's our second rendition of the parking lot. And Shiflett, the driver I was just talking about, we were hoping not to see have any more bad luck also involved. These guys cannot catch a break, as we'll get a look at this one. Colby Wells, oh, maybe not. I think Dingler pinches Wells in, turns himself across the door. There goes Cray hard to the wall, and one by one, everybody just stacks up and gets collected in this deal. Holy Toledo. Just when you thought we might finally have our chance to get ourselves a solid run, the field says no. As boy, what a mess over on the back straightaway there, as not at all the way these guys were hoping to have this race go down, or this restart go down as a whole. Man, Dingler kind of hooked into the wall, and that didn't help matters at all. Purcell, though, just barely able to escape the carnage in the middle of the field. And we'll get a look on board with the likes here of Stefan Purcell, as he ended up shooting the gap. Sees the smoke off of Ford, starts to jam it down, goes to the middle, and just barely manages to avoid these guys. And in fact, he was not the only one, as Kyle Munson, also in a similar situation, getting around this. And he's got Purcell on the inside as well. Let's aims through, and hello, everybody. Well, yellow flag is out for caution flag bleed. This is going to be number 7 now from the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. We'll take a step back. You're watching the OMSRL Xfinity Series live on Green Flag TV. We'll be back in a few.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona, where we're about to go back to green flag racing after what has been, I think, an eventful stage 2, to say the very least. We have had 5 cautions in the second stage, and we have not gone for more than about 10 laps or so, at least. Since we went to yellow flag, we've had, again, those 5 cautions within the last 30 laps. Kenny going to take us down. We'll let you listen to the sights and sounds from the Phoenix Raceway as we get set to take it back down to the green flag. Bear Morton just leaving pit road as he had a restart penalty to serve out of the gate. He will rejoin the racetrack but laps down as Michael DeWalt gonna almost be sent spin. He's gonna tumble down the timing order, so bad trouble for DeWalt as the field gets set to rocket off and away. What has happened then to DeWalt's number 22 car here? Oh, he got a bit of help, it looked like, entering turn number 4. As we'll watch this one coming down to the back straightaway here. Watch as Munson pushes up from the bottom. And as he had a hand to play here, and DeWalt being sent spinning, someone would have had to hit him up the back end. It was Kaiser that gets into the 22. And again, a great save for DeWalt on the apron. Oh, he almost lost again then off of 4, which is where he lost all that speed. Oh, and Munson getting turned as he'll slide to the bottom. Save it, save it, save it. Hang on, Munson. Rock that thing to the bottom, and caution is out. But what a save from Kyle Munson. Keeps that car out of traffic and out of the wall. Wild, wild slide from Kyle Munson. We'll ride on board. How's that for some fine driving right there, keeping it out of the field and keeping it out of the wall. Brought it to a stop, brought out the yellow, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. The hit came from Zachary Kreiser, as Munson then fully lost it coming off of turn number 4. And now a big host of drivers coming down. Purcell stays out, but a big chunk of your leading field is in. In fact, it's just about everybody else that has not pitted so far in this second stage. Michael Kenner aimed to be the first one in. He will not be the first one out. That honor will go to Nathan Shiflett, who might have only taken a fuel-only stop, or at the very least only took 2 tires as his pit stop. We're talking a good few seconds faster. Kyle Munson still sitting in the lane, and we'll get rolling now as he'll try to rocket his way out of pit road, and we'll get a chance here to talk the driver of the number 8 car here. We'll see if we can get a hold of Kyle Munson. Kyle, this is Noel Rebel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, man?
Well, looking a bit better than you at the very least. You took a wild spin there, but all things considered, I'd say that's one heck of a save to keep that out of traffic and out of the wall.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Just trying to drive my own line and mind my own business, but get taken out as a result. So, pretty typical.
So what's going to be the plan then as we get set to go racing once again? Is it going to be a case of just try to push hard, or see if you can go conservative and wait for drivers to take themselves out in front of you?
We're on fresh tires, but the main goal is to avoid all the idiots.
Well, fair enough. Tell it how it is. Thanks for joining us up here, Kyle. Best of luck out there on the restart.
Thank you.
Kyle Munson, from what I've known of him, he really does like to tell it how it is. He voices his opinion, and I think he has made his opinion of that whole incident perfectly clear, as we are still lights on aboard the iRacing safety car. And we'll be looking set to hopefully go back to green flag racing this next time by, but the cautions continue to just pile on up. It's been an almost never-ending cycle at this point in time, as one by one these drivers have been struggling to keep themselves sorted, and I have a feeling it's going to be a while before we get an actual proper green flag run of this race. I don't think it's a matter of when at this point, it's a matter of if. All things considered, though, we're still having a decent run. Thrower, the only driver out of this race, along with Cordall and Cray. Everyone else is still out there on the racetrack, so you got 20 cars still out there. And 18 of them are out on the lead lap. Still plenty of time for some more action to fall our way, as we will get set to go racing for the last 40 laps. Green flag up in the air. Purcell takes us down to the green flag. Oh, here we go. Peterson spinning around. It's the big one, part 3 on the front straightaway. Just when you thought we've had enough, they find a way to wad him up again. Right in the dogleg. Purcell takes it. Was Munson involved? It looks like managed to escape. But Robert Peterson again being sent around. Good grief. From the air with a restart, watch as Shiflett gets into Peterson, and it is on from there. As one by one, drivers scramble on through, at least 7 cars collected. Graham Peterson took a bit of a hefty whack in behind as he got into Spencer Ray, it looked like, who spun it around further up the racetrack. These guys cannot catch a break. I mentioned this before, but it's just a product of Phoenix, and man, I mean, that's just unfortunate. Ames was nowhere to go. Hoffner was nowhere to go. LaValle just shot for the bottom and hoped for the best. You know, I was talking with some of these guys before the race, and I was asking, how do you think this race is going to go? And they said it was going to be interesting. It's been interesting. They weren't wrong. The way I have found races at Phoenix to go, they are either caution fests or it's almost green the checker. There is no in between, and it looks like, unfortunately, we're getting the former of those two here today, as a whole host of drivers working their way on down. Oh boy, it has been wild, to say the very least. Purcell just keeps going after the same cone. And that cone has not done a whole lot for him. And I have to say, I think it's going to be a race that's only going to continue to deteriorate the further we go along. It's not a race that I think these guys were wanting to have. I don't think it's a race that they're pleased to have. There comes a point where even the drivers on the track start to get a little bit tired, and when you start to near the end of, or the hour mark of what should be theoretically a roughly 1 hour long race, that feeling is going to settle in very, very quickly as the lights aboard the safety car are going to go out. Purcell will continue to lead in the Huggies Mustang. In the final third of this race, less than 40 laps left to go. We'll try it again. Still looking for a run longer than 5 laps in stage number 2. Green flag. Oh, it's going to get a bit dicey in the background as we're going to get ourselves sorted. Everybody flying up and down around the field on different lines. For the most part, we're clean. Purcell with a bumper, though, as here comes Dingler trying to make a charge with the race lead down to turn number 3. And Kenner puts it 3 wide, 3 abreast, and Kenner shoots the middle. Kenner goes 2 for 2, and he'll pick up the 2-for-1 special for the race lead. How about that for a move from Michael Kenner? That was decisive. Saw it opening, and he went for it. Kenner puts himself up into the race lead. Kaiser to the inside of Purcell. While Colton Wells and Michael DeWalt do about one another. How many incidents has DeWalt been involved in? That car's been torn up so many times over the course of this race, and yet he still runs inside the top 10. I think that says something, too, about how attrition-filled this race has been. As again, an attempt for 3 wide with Wells up the bottom, almost into Purcell. Wells bobbles as he re-enters the racetrack, forced to back down as Purcell trying to go around Kyle Munson and fend him off. Wells getting aggressive as he tries to find a hole. Oh, Purcell hits the outside wall, rebounds down to Spencer Ray, and that opens up the door for Zachary Kreischer to look for the inside, and he'll easily pick up a 9th place. While Michael DeWalt and Kyle Munson look set to try to fight it out now for 5th. With all the damaged cars in this field, it is separating out in a big, big hurry. Further down the field, Hoffner running with no front clip. Racing with Grant Peterson and Barrett Morton. And now Adam Schramm getting thrown into the ring as Peterson going to go to 11th. Hoffner starting to slip back as his car very clearly running off the pace down towards the tail end of the field. See Schramm in the thick of it as we'll enter the final quarter of this race this next time by. Ryan Dingler and Logan Hamilton looking like they're about to start fighting out for that 2nd position on the racetrack. Well, Kenner starts to stretch his lead. 30 laps left to go. And we finally have our longest green flag run of stage number 2. To the inside of 1 and 2 goes Hamilton to pick it up from Dingler. But again, the outside reigns strong, and he'll run it down to turn number 3 and 4. Still back in the pack, got Hoffner, who despite running without that front clip, still doing a great job. I'm trying to hang on to a respectable position on the lead lap. Adam Schramm on his outside now. They've been side by side for about a lap and a half now. As Schramm bobbles off of turn 2. Hoffner sends it into 3 and 4. Will this be able to pick it up? It is. So Colton Hoffner makes the move for 12 as Schramm falls back to 13th. Meanwhile, Kaiser and Munson might change hands as Kaiser way up the hill. And Munson finds an easy hole through. In the bid for the race lead, Michael Kenner has not necessarily grown out that gap. In fact, it looks like it has actually shrunk down a little bit here. And in fact, it has. The last lap by, a 10th and a half closed in between Kenner and Dingler. So overall, that gap does appear to be coming down slowly but surely, and that could mean trouble for Kenner further on down the line as we'll continue to gradually log laps. That is, Dingler's got to make sure that Hamilton can't get a nose up the inside either. But Dingler has been pulling away gradually from Hamilton as well. As Gackel's down 3 tenths. We'll keep our eyes on this one, but for now we'll look back to DeWalt, Kaiser, and Ray. The battle for 5th all under a blanket. DeWalt going for the lunge down into turn numbers 3 and 4. He's sent a few times down to the 3. I believe Kaiser was one of them, so maybe trying to express some displeasure for events earlier on in this race. As this fight going to continue to develop as you run it down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Spencer Ray trying to get the power off on the high side. And Michael DeWalt. Going to run it back. These guys not able to get too good of a run as things stand, while the fight for spots further down the order continues to pick up. This is Ames, Schramm, Morton fighting down for 13th on back, and Nathaniel Ames might lose out. Here's Morton tries to find some momentum on the top shelf. Almost contact. Nearly sending Morton up and into the outside wall. Into the dog leg. Ray's gotten underneath DeWalt. And that spot will be secured as we rocket back down to 1 and 2. The Apex Active Photography number 6 car running strong as we'll take you to the back straightaway. Is now Morton and LaValle kind of getting in the way as Ames trying to find a way through. This pass is made down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Right there, Ames washed up, and Morton said, "Thank you very much. Let me take that spot off of turn number 4 to the front straightaway." Up front, Michael Kenner is maintaining a pretty solid half a second gap at the moment. Excuse me, with about 3 car lengths back to Ryan Dingler with under 20 laps to go. So far, it's been smooth sailing in the longest green flag run that we've had so far all stage. But overall, this gap continues to fluctuate, but overall looks to be going down. And we'll check it on the lap times one more time here. And you can see again, it's not closing by much, but it is closing. The gap goes in about 0.4 of a second there in the run down that back straightaway. You can tell that's kind of making it an interesting run for these guys after trying to navigate. Gap closes in to about 0.3 of a second now, but Dingler lost a couple of hundredths on the back straightaway the last time through. All the while, Robert Peterson of the AMD Radion Mustang has been steadily closing in on Nathaniel Ames's Civil Air Patrol machine. Ames pushes up the racetrack, noise into the wall right behind them, but they're gonna keep themselves composed-ish. Further up towards the front end of the field, you got Kaiser trying to fend off Michael DeWalt right behind. And at this point, not a whole lot of actual battles, at least on the side-by-side on the race. As I say that, here we go. Schramm and Morton once again. Morton on the inside, taking it to the dog leg. Adam Schramm running the top shelf with 15 laps to go. And they'll get into a drag race here down the back straightaway. Oh, into the outside wall for the 31 car that last time through. And here comes LaValle looking to make it 3 wide as he gets set to unlap himself. Still with the advantage on the inside line, but as we heard Musadi mention earlier in this race, the outside is just such a tight line, and the lower down you are, the tighter the car gets. You can tell Morton is struggling to maintain pace and results. As he'll once again trying to get up around Adam Schramm. This time, though, it'll secure it. Morton officially up into 13th. Sean Kaiser, Michael DeWalt, still another fight that is yet to be decided as well. As the All-American Motorsports Chevrolet will keep ripping it off of turn numbers 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. It's going to be a long race coming on up in 1 week's time when we go racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Boom Confetti 200. The longest race on the season, 134 laps, 200 miles at at America's home for racing. The High Rock 140 going to be up for Iowa next. Then comes the Keystone State 150 at Pocono, followed by our last race of the regular series season at the newly repaved Atlanta Motor Speedway. Meantime, your field of 19 cars strong now, 17 on the lead lap, and continue to run around the Phoenix Raceway. Here's all the fights you got going on for the time being. You've got Kenner and Dingler, half a second separate them. This is the fight for the overall lead. You got Kyle Munson, Logan Hamilton, and Spencer Ray, 3rd through 5th, that are looking a bit tighter, a little ways down the order. You then got Sean Kaiser, Michael DeWalt, and Grant Peterson. 6th, 7th, and 8th locked in a scrap. And how about the likes here of Robert Peterson, Jacob Noyes, and Adam Schraub? 14 through 16. Other than that, everybody running single file for the moment. So when I say there's not a whole lot of fighting anymore on the racetrack, I do mean there's not a lot of fighting on the racetrack anymore. As up to the inside, Spencer Ray takes it to Kyle Munson. Munson trying to go to the crossover. And they'll be side by side across our finish line down into the dog leg here. And once again, team on the race to get it up the inside of Ray. No, he'll tuck it back in line. Meanwhile, Adam Schramm and Nathaniel Ames now finally going side by side as they'll go down into 1 and 2, and they'll come around to the back straightaway here, and you can watch as Ames pulling ahead just slightly, but Schramm throwing it in around the top shelf, almost sends it up and into the outside wall. That's going to give him the spot to Musadi, who's laps down. At this point, though, a pass attempt on Sean Kaiser looking inevitable, as Michael DeWalt has been looking lower and lower in that dog leg every single lap that has passed him by. Oh, but he sent it really deep into 1 and 2, and I don't think that's going to do him any favors. Got the fight between Hoffner and Morton. That's just picked up. This is for 12th spot as Hoffner trying to actually get the hammer down and make up another spot before the end of this race. No! Contact! Morton into the inside wall. He'll rack it up into traffic. Do we get a caution period here? We do not. No yellow flag as Morton is sent slamming into the inside wall. A big hit there for Barrett Morton, as Hoffner got loose off of turn 2, rebounded down into the 9, who tanks the inside wall. And so lucky we did not have a caution flag there. A yellow at this point means overtime. I think that's the last thing these drivers want. Peterson and DeWalt side by side. As Peterson can get up and by Michael DeWalt. DeWalt trying to fight back onto the back straightaway. As your race leader, Michael Kenner, taking 2 laps to go. Dingler's dropped back, while Logan Hamilton in the fight for third here, with Spencer Ray trying to send it for the final podium position. Caution is out! Yellow flag up in the air as Morton is wrecked it again! Barrett Morton crashed into the inside wall, and that is overtime! Morton gets it fired, gets it rolling. But this has just changed. A surefire win from Michael Kenner into near disaster, who is seconds away from taking the white flag. Barrett Morton pushing up onto the outside line, comes down and gets into Schramm, and then Schramm turns Morton right across the nose, and Morton just gets sent right around. On board with Schramm. A bit of a hip check to the back end, and that's all she wrote. Dingler with a bold call. He's going to stay out, while Spencer Ray and co. all coming in. The entire field from the lead lap is in, except for Dingler. Potential strategic disaster for Badger Racing. As meanwhile, Nathaniel Ames wins the race off pit road. But laps down. Holy crap. Well, this is going to get wild fans, we will, oh boy. Ryan Dingler going to have a lot of work ahead of him to try to make this happen. And he's got a hungry field behind him who's going to be on tires fresher by almost the whole race. Dingler last pit is on 66. And the whole reason why it came down the way it did was because of this moment, with Morton being spun around by Adam Strong. Getting up and into the inside wall and facing backwards on the back straightaway. And Dingler is clutching it. This race has just been kicked into overdrive. It'll be overtime attempt number 1. Lights go out aboard the iRacing safety car. And we got set to go back to green flag racing. With 2 laps on the docket. The problem is, we saw how this goes earlier in this race when we had ourselves with the stage 2. We had about 6 or 7 yellow, or 5, 6 cautions before we finally managed to get this long green flag run. And I am not having high hopes for this field that we're going to be getting to the end of this thing under green. Pace car is down and into pit road. Dingler, the race leader, to the green flag. Final 2 laps from Avondale. Logan Hamilton on a charge to the inside line, trying to pick up the race lead with 3 wide, and we're wrecking. Wells getting turned to the background. Caution is out. And we'll try it again. Attempt number 2, but not the big one. The field able to stay sorted, but Hamilton has picked up the race lead. Michael Kenner getting into it with Colby Wells. Kenner shot for the inside, went below the apron, drifted up and just cleaned Wells out. Spun both cars around. What a save for Colby Wells, but absolutely no excuse there from Michael Kenner. On board with Colby Wells. Around he goes, full lock. Gets it gathered up. On board with Kenner. I mean, where are you going? There is no excuse whatsoever for the 98 car in that deal. We'll restack him. We'll try it again for attempt number 2. 2 more green-white checkered attempts. We'll be back in a moment with whatever's left in this race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It has been one of the wildest races that we have had in the OMSRL Xfinity Series season for season number 4. And it is all about to come to a head with about 2 laps left to green, where we'll go for our second attempt at overtime. Oh my goodness me, what a wild time that we have had here today. And I have to say, I think this is going to be one of the craziest races potentially in the history of this series if this goes down the way I think it might. I'm just hoping we get to the white flag. We get to that white flag, the race official, anything goes. The one thing we don't want is to have a race end under caution. We have not had that in some time. It would be a shame to have that happen here tonight. Lights are out. We'll go green for lap 129. Pace car is off. Hamilton gonna try to limp that car home. Dingler still on old rubber on the outside. Ray, Kaiser, Munson. And DeWalt, the top 3 rows. Who can survive to the end of the Ruch Cream 120? Into the Geico restart zone, back in the air, we're green flag racing. Hamilton immediately cranks the wheel hard to the bottom. Can we survive turn number 1? The field filters out onto the racetrack. Couple of cars shooting for the gaps up the middle. It's every man for himself. We survive 1 and 2 to the back straightaway. Coming on down with 1 lap left to go. White flag is in the air. 1 mile left. Can Spencer Ray get around Logan Hamilton? He'll have to go for a bonsai lunge down to the turn numbers 1 and 2. Maybe to 3 and 4. Hamilton bobbles. Here comes Ray with a charge. We're crashing on the back straightaway. Dingler's up and over. Wells is up and over. Ray trying to send it in. Hamilton hangs on. And Logan Hamilton, your winner at Phoenix. Logan Hamilton weathers the storm and picks up his second OMSRL Cup or Xfinity Series victory, while a huge crash sees Colby Wells wreck it across the start-finish line. A tremendous wreck on the back straightaway. Well, look at this all from the air. From the white flag. It all started where Wells is at, along with Dingler. Munson just barely slams the door shut. And then on to the back straightaway. Wells pushes up, gets into Dingler, wrecks him down the bottom. Wells goes tumbling down the back straightaway. Purcell gets into it in the big way. And from there, it's a drag race as Wells tries to throw the thing in reverse to try to pick up a win. He's going to wreck it again with Baron Morton almost. And he will wreck it as he tries to get across the line. Oh boy, what a way to end out the racing tonight, as you could not have asked for a better way to close things out as Hamilton burns it down on the front straightaway. What a way to finish things up tonight, as we will get an official rundown here of your race results. It was Logan Hamilton to hang on against Spencer Ray, with Sean Kaiser picking it up in third. Kyle Munson brings up fourth, with Michael DeWald in fifth. Grant Peterson was sixth, with Robert Peterson in seventh. Michael Kenner was eighth. Matt LaValle ninth. Jacob Noyes rounds out the top 10. Nathaniel Lane picks up 11th spot, with Colby Wells back in 12th. Stefan Purcell is 13th, with Brian Dingler in 14th, and the last car on the lead lap. From there, to round out the used car lot, you got Adam Schramm, Zachary Kreiser, Barrett Morton, Colton Hoffner, Anthony Musadi, Nathan Schiffler, Todd Cray, Kevin Cordall, and then, of course, Hunter Thrower way at the back end of the field. What a drive that we had here tonight. I could not express just how good of a race that we have had so far for us here tonight, as we will see if we can't end up dialing up your race winner here, Logan Hamilton, in just a second, as we'll get things sorted. But again, what an absolutely incredible drive that we have had. And we'll get a chat here with the likes of Logan Hamilton, as Hamilton comes home to take that TI race machine into victory lane. And Logan, what an amazing run for you, as you just barely managed to find yourself squeaking out a race win here in Phoenix.
Yeah, it was pretty lucky, I guess. But I mean, I've been pretty unlucky with the way races have ended before, so it's nice to finally get one to go my way and get back to back.
You go back to back. You won the race at Watkins Glen, and this time you'll win what was one of the most attrition-filled races we've had so far all season long. As Stage 2 started off the way it was, and obviously you could tell your car did not make it through that unscathed, what was the kind of the mood swings throughout the duration of those last 80 laps?
Last 80 laps was really just trying to not kill my tires, which I did a pretty bad job of. But I got passed by Spencer and then got the caution right away. And getting passed by Spencer right before that yellow is honestly kind of a blessing in disguise, because it set me up to get the bottom on the restart, which I was able to, which I was able to pass Ryan pretty quickly, and then just get a good jump on that last restart, which was pretty important. And I was able to just not spin out, which I almost did a couple times.
Next week, we swing on out to your home state, North Carolina, for a race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the longest race of the season, 200 miles, 134 laps around America's home for racing. What's going to be the game plan as you take that Astro Rooftop Board Tours Chevrolet out to your home state?
I'll probably just be trying to survive and get through the whole race. It's obviously a long race, so you got to remember you can't win it on the first lap, and just try to be there at the end, kind of like we were today, even though I did crash all by myself earlier in the race, which was pretty embarrassing, but it all worked out in the end.
True words have never been spoken. Thanks for taking time to join us up here tonight, Logan. Congratulations going back to back. Hopefully it'll be 3 for 3 when we go out racing at Charlotte.
Yep, thank you to TI Racing, thanks to Astro Rooftop Bar Tours, and thanks to Chris Lewis. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Chris, and this is your birthday present.
Oh, it's your Green Flag TV. Happy birthday then to Chris Lewis as well. That was Logan Hamilton joining us out here tonight from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. We will move things on down to our second place finisher, the likes of Spencer Ray, who will come up and join us up next here in the broadcast booth. And Spencer, for you, again, wild ride for you out here for today. And I have to say, honestly, it's some masterful driving for you to be able to avoid all the carnage and pick up a solid race win.
I did not win the race, no.
You did not win the race. I do apologize. You finished second place. I'm going to
be nice if I did.
It's been a long night for all of us. Let's put it that way. Well, anyways, again, you come home about 0.2 of a second behind Logan Hamilton. You reckon you had one more, though? You might have been able to catch the TI Racing driver?
Well, I passed them before that first yellow to set that all up happened, so. And I got the product of being stuck on the outside in the restart.
it's not a place that seemed to be in favor of the Apex Action Photography Super out there today. But when we had the Caution Fest right in the middle, I think the 6 car got collected up in a couple of moments throughout the middle portion there. But you managed to still wrestle that thing back and get that thing into a decent point scoring position regardless. What was the kind of the reaction, as it seemed like for a moment we weren't even going to have a green flag run throughout the second half of the race?
Just survive, I guess.
And of course, you entered this race the points leader. You're going to be leaving this race the points leader as well. Is the aim to continue to just hang on to this point and ride the rest of the regular season out as we run down to Charlotte?
I want to win races. I'm tired of finishing second and fourth every week.
I mean, hey, fair enough. I can't exactly say I blame you. Haven't gotten that first win yet, but still a lot of tracks up where I imagine with that 6 car could very easily be up on victory lane. Thanks for joining us here tonight then, Spencer, and we'll wish you the best of luck then in races going forward.
All right.
That was Baron Morton joining us up here from second place. A man of few words, as always. We'll move things on down then to the likes of Sean Kaiser, who's going to pick it up in the 3rd position for us here tonight. And Sean, what a wild race that All-American Motorsports had up and down throughout the field. But you managed to finish 2nd and 3rd tonight. And overall, I think could have gone worse, could have gone better. What's your assessment?
If I had a couple more laps, it definitely would have gone better. I think I had the freshest tires. I mean, good job by Spencer holding on with the 2 tires. He had a legit chance to try and get that win. But it was just a wild race, a little bit of a mess. Being mired back, like off the get go, I started 7th, and people just didn't go on the restart. I ended all the way back to 15th, and it's hard when you're back there. It's hard to pass. You wear your tires out a lot, but just being consistent, keeping your nose clean, and determination definitely goes a long way at this track.
And of course, for you, it was a race that seemed to just kind of drag on as things went along. What was it like? It seemed to be a race of endurance as the laps continued to just kind of extend out more and more. You found yourself in a bit of no man's land, and then being able to fight with both teammates and rival teams alike. Kind of sum up the race as a whole. What was it like for that 24 car out there?
Yeah, it was definitely endurance. Like I said, it's because it was so hard working through there, and you have to really crank the wheel and drive hard in order to pass people. A couple things worked out in my favor. I think I had pretty good speed. When I fell back, I drove up to 10th. But once the pit stops rolled around, honestly, one of the better things was I got involved in one wreck and had to go put tires on it and fix my damage. And that allowed me to stay out and allowed me to rotate probably like 4 positions closer to the front. And then after that, I just had decent enough speed to stay there, hold my own, and pick off a couple more people. It definitely a good night overall. I want to say great, but it could always be better.
You mentioned it was an endurance race out there tonight. Do you think that means this is going to be good practice then for when we swing out to Charlotte next week?
Oh yeah, for sure. That one, obviously you carry a little bit more speed. You maybe, I don't know, you probably feel like you have more racing room in Charlotte somewhat. I mean, it just depends on whether or not people can get the high side going, but it's definitely going to be a long one. Once again, it's going to be all about keeping your nose clean and just being consistent. You don't really have to be the fastest unless there's a green-white checkered. You just got to conserve your stuff and pick off positions and slowly move your way to the front.
And thank you again, then, for taking the time to join us up here tonight from that 3rd spot on the podium. Best of luck, then, next week. Get set to go racing at America's Home for Racing, and congratulations on the 3rd place finish tonight.
I appreciate it, Nolan. Thank you.
That was Sean Kaiser joining us up here from the 3rd spot on the grid, and that is going to be about a wrap then for us here tonight. What a night we have had from the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. When we get set to go back out racing next, it'll be for the longest race of the season, the Boom Confetti 200. Coming on up next, over next week, same time, same place, for the OMSRL Xfinity Series season. Be sure to tune in on Saturday night when the VRX Pimax World Cup gets set to make their return for their next race going to be taking place. I believe that will be featuring over at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for a 60-lap affair. We'll see you guys all there and later with more throughout the course of the week. Once again, my name is Nolan Remple. Thank you for joining us for more racing action on Green Flag TV. Y'all have yourselves a good night.